If you have completed the Yokai questline in Assassin's Creed Shadows, then you would of course know that the questline is focused on Japanese folklore. Completing the questline left me with more questions about what these creatures were actually like, and so I decided to make this video where I explain in more detail about the yokai found in the questline. Before I get started, I do want to say that if I mispronounce any Japanese words, then I am sorry, and there is no disrespect behind it. Also, I am not specialised in Japanese folklore, or any folklore for that matter, so if I get anything incorrect, then please leave a comment down below. If you want to help me grow my channel, then please leave a like on the video and subscribe for everything related to Assassin's Creed. Thank you. With that said, let's get started. The first one we are going to take a look at is the Suika no Bakemono, which during the quest we have to duel one of them. These two men have painted themselves yellow and green, as well as using a melon and watermelon as a helmet. The Suika no Bakemono translates to watermelon monster, and the appearance of them are samurai that has a watermelon or melon for a head. The Busan Yokai Amaki is a renowned yokai picture scroll crafted by the talented poet and artist Yosa Busan, who lived during the Edo period from 1716 to 1784. Widely regarded as one of the most significant poets of his time, Busan blended his literary prowess with his artistic vision. In the 1750s, while studying painting at the Kensoji Temple in Miyatsu, Kyoto, he created this scroll, which features 8 depictions of different yokai. The creatures are depicted alongside their names, yet they are missing any narratives, leaving the true origins and stories of these creatures shrouded in mystery. It is widely believed that these yokai were inspired by local legends and folklore that Busan encountered during his travels. In one illustration within the scroll, Busan specifically mentions that the Suika no Bakemono originates from Kizu, a village that is now part of Naniwa Ward, Osaka. However, what connection the Bakemono had to this area in specific has been lost over time. The next creature we are going to explore is the Kappa, which in the game you can come across 2 children pretending to be Kappa. They are trying to learn Nawe from a river to the nearby bandit camp. On the back of one of the children they have a basket which represents a shell, and Nawe also comments on the fact that they smell and look like a Kappa, featuring green skin and a fishy smell. The Kappa is a creature that resembles human in shape and are about the size of a young child. They live in rivers and ponds where they are agile and at ease, though they can come onto land but tend to be more awkward. The Kappa usually have green or sometimes yellowish blue skin and are either covered in scales or their skin is slimy. Their bodies feature webbed hands and feet along with a shell on their back similar to that of a turtle. Some of their more unusual features include having 3 anuses, which supposedly lets them produce 3 times more gas than a human. Despite their small build, Kappas are said to be stronger than any adult man, and they often have a fishy odour and are excellent swimmers. Though they can be mischievous and at times dangerous, Kappas are also known for their sense of honour, as they are intelligent creatures who keep their word once it's given. Some stories say that a Kappa's arms are linked through its body, allowing one arm to move all the way to the other side, as well as having a shallow bowl on top of their heads that must stay filled with water, as it is the source of their strength. When they leave the water, they may protect this bowl with a metal cover, but if the water is spilled, the Kappa becomes weak and can be easily defeated. The behaviour of these creatures can be wide-ranged, as they have been known to try peek under the woman's kimonos near water to much darker acts, including assaulting women, drowning people and animals, eating the flesh of humans, and abducting children. Despite their threatening nature, they are also capable of friendly interactions with humans, as well as forming friendships with other yokai and with people. The Kappa can be won over through thoughtful gestures, especially offerings of their favourite fruits like cucumbers, or by engaging them in light-hearted wrestling matches, which is a pastime that they enjoy. They are also known to be fond of lonely or isolated children, often seeking them out as companions. The shallow dish of water on a Kappa's head is considered their greatest vulnerability, as it must remain filled for them to maintain their strength and vitality. If a human manages to trick or defeat a Kappa in a way that causes this water to spill, but then refills it, the creature is said to respond with deep gratitude, pledging their friendship and loyalty to their rescuer. Once a bond is formed, Kappas are capable of performing a wide range of helpful tasks for humans. They have been known to assist farmers by helping to irrigate their fields, ensuring crops receive proper water flow. Additionally, Kappas are believed to possess advanced knowledge of medicine and healing, as according to legend, they were the ones who first taught humans the practice of setting broken bones. The Oshiroibaba quest in the game is one of the most memorable for me, as it is the one that seems to actually have some supernatural feeling to it. When you get near where the Oshiroibaba is located, the area becomes surrounded by fog and you can hear some creepy cries from somewhere within it. Also, she's the first one I came across that actually looks pretty close to the description when I did the research. Firstly, the Oshiroibaba is described as a yokai that takes the shape of an old woman, known for dragging a mirror behind her as she moves, often accompanied by a jingling noise. From what I can tell from my time in the quest, she didn't have a mirror and I didn't hear any jingling noises. However, in the supplement to the 100 Demons from the Present and the Past book by Toriyama Sekion, there is a depiction of an elderly woman with a severely hunched back. She wears a large broken umbrella on her head, carries a walking stick in her right hand, and holds a flask of sake in her left. The note with her image explains that Shifun Senjo is the goddess of red and white facial powder, and suggests that Oshiroibaba is one of her attendants. In the game, she has a straw hat in place of the broken umbrella. She does have a flask of sake, but it is in her right hand, and she of course has the white and red powder on her face. Some regional folktales suggest that the Oshiroibaba are a type of Yuki-Onna, descending from the mountains into villages during the snowy nights. Other stories describe them more like Yama-Uba, old mountain witches who sometimes ask travellers for makeup, or showing up at the foothills trying to purchase alcohol. The Oshiroibaba rarely comes into contact with humans, as most of the time, their terrifying appearance is enough to make anyone who sees them flee immediately. On occasion, they do approach people, either attempting to buy sake or asking for makeup. In this way, they resemble other elderly female yokai who roam the streets at night. While nearly all descriptions portray them as frightening and grotesque, they aren't considered harmful or threatening. The Daitengu in the yokai quest is a yokai that is rumoured by locals to have a red face, wings similar to a bird, and making a bird-like crying sound. When we come to find the man, we come to see that his wings are just two flags on his back. But in the folklore, they typically take on a more human appearance, most often resembling a man clad in the robes of an ascetic monk. But where they differ from men is their face, as they have a red face and an extremely long nose. Interestingly, the nose of a Daitengu is important as their power is believed to grow with the length of the nose. So the longer the nose, the more powerful they are. They also have broad feathered wings extending from their backs. It's uncommon for them to be seen in the more animalistic bird-like form associated with the Ko-Tengu or Lesser Tengu. These creatures resemble more like a bird, unlike the Daitengu. Over time, Daitengu came to be seen less as enemies of humanity and more as powerful sage-like beings dwelling deep in the mountains, and they eventually became strongly associated with Shigendo, the ascetic mountain religion. Practitioners of this faith formed a close bond with the Tengu, venerating them as divine spirits and seeking their guidance. It was likely through this spiritual connection that humans eventually gained the Tengu's respect, as courageous individuals would journey into the remote wilderness hoping to receive the Tengu's wisdom. On rare occasions, Tengu would share mystical knowledge and teach magical arts to those they deemed worthy. A good example of this is one of Japan's legendary warriors, Minamoto Yoshitsune. He is famously said to have learned swordsmanship from the Tengu king Sojobo. The Daitengu dwell alone on secluded mountain peaks, far from human civilization, as they devote their lives to deep meditation and self-improvement, trying to reach perfection. Compared to the Ko-Tengu, the lesser counterpart that I briefly mentioned before, Daitengu are more powerful, wise and proud, but they can also be just as fierce and unpredictable. This mix of intelligence and ferocity makes them extremely formidable. In fact, some natural disasters and major calamities are believed to be the result of a Daitengu's fury. Yet despite their potential for destruction, Daitengu are also known for their greater sense of control. The Yuki-Onna, or Snow Woman, target travellers who become lost in the thick snowstorms of the Japanese Alps during winter, but are also generally accepted to be anywhere there is snow. They are hauntingly beautiful with long black hair and intense dark eyes. Their skin is snow white and unaging, but their bodies are ice cold to the touch. This description fits incredibly close to the woman we see in the game. She has the dark hair, dark eyes, and the pale white skin. They sustain themselves by draining human life energy, exhaling a freezing breath into their victims' mouths that leaves them frozen solid. The Yuki-Onna spend their existence stalking humans as they linger near mountain paths, waiting for unsuspecting travellers, or sneak into homes under the cover of night, freezing the occupants instantly. Though they are deadly, Yuki-Onna aren't completely without emotion. Folklore tells of instances where they fall in love with their would-be victims and choose to spare them. Some even go as far as marrying humans and living peacefully for a time. However, since the Yuki-Onna are unaging spirits, their true nature is eventually revealed, and this discovery often brings end to the marriage. The Taka Nyudo in the game is a man of simple design. He is a large man who is tall, has a bald head and a beard. The Taka Nyudo in folklore, however, is closely related to the Mikoshi Nyudo, and the two are often mistaken for each other due to their similar looks and regional names. Taka Nyudo typically appears in narrow alleys, suddenly showing up in front of unsuspecting people. Just like the Mikoshi Nyudo, they grow taller at the same pace that someone raises their eyes to look at them. Taka Nyudo can be overcome in much the same way as Mikoshi Nyudo, by staying calm and fearless, refusing to look up, and not giving them a chance to grow taller. According to some stories, they can also be tricked by using a ruler or measuring tool to try and calculate their height before they have a chance to react. This usually confuses and frustrates the creature, causing it to leave and avoid that person in the future. Compared to the other giant yokai, Taka Nyudo are usually less aggressive. They prefer to scare their victims rather than physically attack them, unlike others that might crush or kill. Their true form is often a shape-shifting animal, such as a tanuki, kitsune, or kawauso. The last yokai we are going to talk about that appears in the questline is the only one that is actually a yokai in the game, as we can tell by her supernatural appearance, voice, and abilities. Have you ever heard the saying, "Speak of the devil and the devil appears"? Well, this is where the Andon is believed to originate, as they haunt ghost parties and things similar to that. It is thought that talking about yokai, spirits, and demons would cause the Andon to materialise for real, which I hope isn't the case because I've been talking about them this whole time. Anyway, it makes a lot of sense as to why she appears at the end of the quest, as you and Mamushi, who gives you the quest, talk a lot about the yokai. The Andon is a supernatural being born from a collective human fear, an embodiment of intense terror shared between many people. It manifests as a terrifying female figure with blue skin, sharpened black teeth, long black hair and horns. They are dressed in a white or blue kimono, and it emits a ghostly blue glow, adding to its eerie otherworldly presence. In the Edo period from 1603 to 1868, it was common among the aristocracy to host gatherings during the hot summer months, where guests would share ghost stories. These events were known as a gathering of 100 ghost tales. For the game, 100 candles were lit and placed inside blue paper lanterns, which helped create a haunting atmospheric glow, perfect for the eerie storytelling. As the night went on, participants took turns recounting increasingly terrifying tales of yokai, spirits, and demons. After each story, one candle was blown out. Slowly the room darkened, and by the final tale, only a single candle remained, its faint blue light barely piercing the growing shadows, casting long and unsettling shapes across the room. According to legend, once the final candle was blown out, a real spirit would emerge from the darkness to attack those present. This being, known as the Andon, was said to be drawn forth by the guests' heightened fear and emotional tension. It would rise from the smoke of the last candle and strike. What form this attack took remains unclear. Some believe that the Andon would unleash a violent end inspired by the chilling stories told throughout the night, while others think it simply delivered one final scare before vanishing. Traditionally, the gatherings would end after the 99th story, leaving the final candle unextinguished and the Andon uninvited. Let me know in the comments if you found any more folklore creatures that were found or mentioned in the game. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.